Broadcasting from Watts Creative Studios and live on Grove Street FM. You're listening to Talk Local to Me, brought to you by the Central Virginia Business Coalition.
All right. Happy New Year, everyone. Welcome to Talk Local to Me 2023. Hey, that rhymes. Talk Local to Me 2023. I like it. I'll start using that now for my promotions year round. But I hope everyone that's listening or, plugs in later and listens had a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, all the things. I know the past couple of weeks are kind of crazy with the end of the year and then bringing in the new year. So, I took a little bit of time off after Christmas, which was nice, and kind of refreshed, ready to go. And, here at the Central Virginia Business Coalition, we are constantly working on things for business owners and for events. And it kind of seems like the year never ends. It just kind of keeps rolling, keeps rolling because it's like, didn't we just do that event? No, it's coming up again. So we keep plugging along. So I thought today I actually don't really have any guests in the studio today. And it's kind of nice. It's kind of nice to be able to just sit here and chat with our listeners. And Woody, how are you?
I'm here.
So I got Woody today. We're gonna be talking about a lot of updates to Grove Street FM and in here at Watts Creative.
2023.
Yes,
is it?
Well, it seems like the last 2 weeks of 2022 exploded. It was like every time I look, there's a new channel, there's something streaming. I'm like, what's happening?
Well, when we get to talking about it, it was one of those things like I'm gonna wait, and then I was like, no, I'm not gonna wait. So I just open the floodgate.
Well, it's funny you say that because I'm gonna talk a little bit, and you can kind of chat, chime in on it. But one of the things I thought I would talk about today was just, New Year's resolutions for small businesses. I know people make personal resolutions every year that they break. I'm sure I'm done with that. I don't do the whole personal, I'm not going to be like, oh, I go to the gym because get ready. The next month and a half, you can't get in your gym. If you've been going all year, you're a steady gym fanatic. Don't worry. The people that are coming for the next month and a half, they'll start to taper off mid-February, end of February. But some may stick it out, but you have those that do, the money challenges, how I'm going to save money. And, I'm usually done with that after a week, so I thought this year, one of the things I've seen people do though in the past, and this is kind of speaking to a personal level, and Woody, tell me if do you have resolutions?
No, I stopped doing that a long time.
You did too? Okay.
Same thing. Well, and I worked at the Y, right? So in marketing, our main thing was like January 1st, right? Like we would gear up. And by the time I did 4 or 5 years of that, the beginning of the year for me was kind of like, oh, I hate, it was just kind of like, oh, okay, never mind, Yeah. So I don't do those.
Yeah. So, but I have seen where people will pick a word of the year.
Yeah. That's a good idea.
And I kind of liked that idea.
Like that.
I've seen a lot of people posting about their words of the year. And I thought to myself, how do you pick a word? How does that even, there's so many different things that could apply. And, I did all the Google searching. I searched words of the year. Let me steal someone else's word. What's going on? How do people...
I like that one.
So somebody they posted about 250 words. And I kind of started scrolling to see if any of them popped out at me. And one did. And I said, okay, that's what I'm going to do. This is going to be my word of the year. So my word of the year is invest.
Ooh.
And I like that word because it has the opportunity to work on multifaceted levels. How you like that big word?
Man, you were faceted. 2023. You were like,
I'm investing in my vocabulary.
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to have to pull out a dictionary.
Yeah, that's right.
Listen to this episode.
Here we go. So, but I thought, okay, so first of all, there are some things I'm going to be going through this year, that will be a investment in myself. I haven't really talked a lot about, but those are some things, and I feel like everyone needs to invest in themselves. I think a lot of people don't do that. I'm one of those people that I very much give a lot of myself, but I don't necessarily give back to myself and take the time to, really just be about me. I think this past a couple weeks ago when I went to Disney, was kind of that first step.
Yep.
Because
Yep.
I went and, people were like, you're not taking your 11-year-old. No, I did not. Nope. I went to
No.
Disney all on my own as an adult and had a darn good time. And I don't feel bad about it. I don't feel bad about taking time for myself. And, I think sometimes you need to do that or you burn yourself out.
Amen.
And that's where I was really getting. I was getting to the point of just tired and I needed to invest in. And so, I'm investing in myself. I'm not going to be the hardcore, like, oh, I'm investing and I'm going to be at the gym every day. So let's get ready for that. No, it's going to be little things, small things, like, going out and getting my hair done every now and then, or my nails done, and just small things that make you feel good. And so I highly encourage people to do that. But then I also looked at investing in my family, and that kind of also leads into the time I spend in work versus home.
Yeah.
And I am definitely one of those people that I tend to work really hard because I feel like I have something I have to prove. I have to make sure, I work with so many business owners and so many different people that it's hard for me to say no, because I feel like if I say no, then I'm not fulfilling my job duty as the director of this organization that's supposed to help and grow business. And it's hard for me to do that. Like, people want ribbon cuttings on Saturdays, and we've decided this year that unless it's a super big event or something that just, we're not going to do those. We're going to let our weekends be our weekends. And it's hard to tell people that, like, hey, no, we have to step aside for ourselves. But, we're going to be making those choices this year and investing more in our family, or especially for me, since it's my word. I mean, I'm not going to tell Autumn and Andrea what to do, but
you tell them what their word
invest. I'll tell you what your word is this year. But yeah, investing time in family. I am lucky that, Autumn is part of our staff, so I get to see her every day, but I have two other kids and husband and, dog. I like my dog. I'll play, so there's things you want to do, with family, and, I think that's important. And so, but then you also, on the flip side, investing in the organization, investing in our membership. I'm always looking for new ways to promote our businesses in our region. And it's something that I honestly pride myself on, is the fact that, when you are a member of the CVABC, you have so many options available to you to help you grow your business.
Yep.
And, and I say this because it's fact. I don't say this because I'm, I say it because we are honestly the number one organization in our region where you're going to get marketing, free marketing, and, opportunities, for your dollar. Like, and I can say that confidently because I believe it and I know that it is truth. So, but I'm constantly looking at better ways to do it. I'm constantly looking at how can we continue to grow the business, but also our members with it, our sponsors. I have been overwhelmed with our sponsors this year. I was really worried about, first of all, you're worried 2020 hit. You were worried about how people's budgets were going to look with COVID. Mm-hmm. And oddly enough, my sponsors came out and were supportive and, really did more than I thought, was going to happen. And then, 2021, kind of the same thing. Well, then 2022, you've seen all this inflation. You're worried about job markets and stuff. And so I was really concerned when we started pushing our 2023 sponsorship stuff out as to whether or not our members, because you got to think about it. Most of our members are not large business. I'm talking about small mom and pop businesses, or, 1 to maybe 20 employee businesses. These are not, 500 Fortune companies, or, your major businesses in this area. Surprisingly, we don't have Centra. I will give Centra
like a handful.
Yeah, a handful. Maybe. Like Centra is a very big supporter of ours, and I'm always appreciative to Centra. But your large businesses, we don't have as much support. But you're looking at these small businesses, and they have again exceeded my expectation as to what I was hoping.
Yeah.
And, I talked to quite a few of them, and they were like, we're willing to invest in you guys because we see the value and what we get for it. And so in turn, I want to invest back into them and show them, like, every bit of what you've given us is going to be worth it, because I'm going to make sure that it is. So invest is a pretty good word.
That's a great word.
I feel like it's all around
everything that you just said.
Usable.
It's wonderful.
And I like it. So that's my word for the year. Invest. Now, don't come at me with like investing in your business. I ain't got money. I ain't got no money to actually invest.
I didn't say monetarily.
That is it's not a monetarily invested. It's investment of my time.
Emotionally.
My emotions.
This is the emotional investment.
My love, my everything. Like
everything but money, everybody.
I can give everything but the
just relax on the money.
Yeah. So, but if you want to invest in us monetarily, we'll gladly talk to you about it. But I think that having a word or something just to kind of keep you balanced is a good thing.
I think it's great.
So, I was thinking, all right, well, I'm gonna look at some New Year's type resolutions. What are things small business owners should look for into 2023?
Yeah.
And you were talking about growth, and you were like, well, I'm just gonna do it now.
Yep.
So one of the top things that says, do not let a recession or the fear of said recession alter your growth plans.
Amen.
So, basically, you need to, it's hard to tell somebody that to be a risk taker, but you kind of need to be. And on average, most entrepreneurs, most small businesses are risk takers. They jump in and they're like, okay, we're going to do this, and we're going to kind of just see where we end up. So, I feel like if you're on a growth trajectory, if you've already started those plans, if you're ready to kind of jump in, don't let this stop you. There are people out there that are going to be helpful in getting you, what you need, or growth. And, of course, our organization is one of them, but, your economic development centers in your town or county where you may live, or city, those are all people that are all there to help, with those growth.
Well, some of the best advice that I got was, this has been a while ago. I was doing some video commercials on the side, and I was doing marketing kind of on the side, but I had a full-time job, and people just kind of, you could kind of sense, people could sense that you were like, half over here, and how it is if you try to divide up too much, you end up like sucking at everything. Right?
Oh yeah.
All right. So
you're getting pulled in so many directions.
Yeah. So I remember a friend of mine came to me, and he just sat there. He was like, "Listen, can I ask you something?" I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "What do you want to do?" And I told him, like, I want to own my own business, but I'm just kind of scared, I don't want to fail, and I want to make sure I pay my back. He's like, "What would you do if you had no fear? Like, what would you do?" I was like, "Well, I would do my business."
That's a great question.
He said, "Then that's what you need to do." He's like, "Don't let fear stop you." He's like, "That's the only thing stopping you. Then you need to do it." So I just, every time something pops in my brain, or opportunity or whatever, it's like, and then you have 1,000 questions. It's like, reset. What would you do if you weren't scared? What would you do if you had no fear? That's the option you take. So as a small business owner, I can tell you, like, it really eliminates a lot of stress if you're battling with that. And then all of a sudden you just kind of hit reset to zero. And what option stands above everything if you take fear out of the equation? Then all of a sudden, all the other stuff just drifts away.
Yeah. My staff would not appreciate it if I just started going, if I'm not scared, what all would we do? Because I'd roll with it. But, it's interesting because when we were talking about opening up the second office space that we did in Bedford, I was hesitant about it, but really then it was like, well, what if we do this little store off to the side? And of course, I was kind of like, I don't know. Well, we decided to go for it. So we have this,
and All Things Local was born.
And we had a good December, I will say. We have about 10 vendors in there now, and we had close to about 2,000 in sales, but granted, we were only open. Well, we were only open for maybe 15 days out of the month because of the holidays and stuff.
And you've got to figure, like, it takes, and we know this because it's a local market, right? It takes a lot of word of mouth. You got to be open for a while, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like, if you're not like a fair, like a festival,
yes,
it takes a while, and for people to kind of know about it, talk about it, and then the thing that I think people forget is like around the holidays, take yourself, for example, right? Like, you know how crazy you feel sometimes, schedule, like I want to get some rest, but I got to get things done. Like we forget everybody else feels the same way,
Right.
So it's like everybody else has a ton of stuff going on from the middle of December on. So that's fantastic though. Oh,
Yeah.
that's so good.
I'm really happy now. I had a couple of my vendors were in this morning, restocking. 'Cause
Yeah.
we were taking all the Christmas down,
Yep.
getting everything ready. And they have legit, I would almost say, fears and questions of, okay, what now? Christmas, of course, everyone shops at Christmas,
Yes.
but how is this going to look for the next few months, like when everything's kind of down? And I told them, I said, now is actually the best time. We're going to push a lot of marketing.
Yes.
We're going to restock. I said, you've got to kind of think a little forward, spring items, Easter, like you start, if you walk into Walmart right now, they got Valentine's and Easter already on the shelf.
And
so that's how you work it.
Yes.
And
from marketing, I think the marketing world, we always fight at the end of the year. Thanksgiving and Christmas, yes, you can market Christmas stuff. That's about it, honestly, because everything else gets lost in everything. Like every marketing you do, every post you do on Facebook, it just seems to just get buried. Okay.
Right.
So really the optimum time for marketing and budgets and all that usually starts around the end of January.
Yep.
And beginning of February. And then you have a really good spring and then, into summer, and then kind of, summer kind of dies down because everybody's in vacation mode. So now if you're a shop owner, now's the kind of time you can kind of set your plans. And this is it. This is the time. Okay, I'm going to implement it.
Right.
So
well, and also I will say if you're a fan of barbecue, starting next Wednesday, I'm hoping, my fingers are crossed. Porterhouse Catering has got a new food trailer.
Yes.
They will be parked at All Things Local.
Right.
Hopefully every Wednesday.
Every Wednesday.
We're looking at about noon to 6. So we're hoping to help you either catch your lunch or your dinner.
Well, we will have to do a remote
cravings.
show.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
In front of the barbecue truck.
Yep. So I hope that would bring people to the store too. Come out, shop a little, get you some food. But speaking of marketing, so that's the next thing I was going to talk about with New Year resolutions, and you can 100% jump in on this, Woody, because I know you will have lots of thoughts on this.
Sure.
And I have actually said this a lot, and I said this even in 2020 when COVID hit and throughout. Do not cut back on your marketing.
No.
I know that is one of the first things people think they need to throw out the window, but it is the last thing you need to do, quite honestly. Companies that maintain their marketing expenditures during recessions actually emerge stronger than others, because even when things have gotten down, people are thinking, you know what? Once I have the money, I'm gonna go get that.
Yeah.
And you honestly end up bouncing back quicker than those who haven't. And then they have, because basically think about it. People are still listening. They're still hearing it instead of those that have to start up and then they've got months to catch up on.
Well, and that's exactly right, because I have firsthand experience of this over the last, I would say 2 years. There were some companies that started off strong in the beginning of COVID, but then, like you said, started to cut back. Like, oh, we're going to cut back. And then there were some that I do stuff for that didn't. And for a fact, the ones that did not are in a better space now than when they were before. And I'm sad to say, some of the ones that did cut back, it started a process that was, they couldn't reverse.
Right.
And they either had to sell or they've had to morph into a way that they're not what they were before. So I know it's tough, but honestly, because you have to figure that is from a small business, like word of mouth is obviously, huge.
Right.
But like you're fighting with everybody else. And on social media, God help you, because the algorithm is not in your favor anymore unless you spend money. So it's one of those things where it's like you really do need to stick with it. You really do. And I'm finding that out with the app, with Grove Street FM, like stuff like that is like, it's very important. You have to always be top of mind.
Yeah. And shameless plug, I'll go ahead and say it, like, join an organization like the Central Virginia Business Coalition. I mean, I will say right now, we're doing a new year new member special. So for the whole month of January, our members can either join for the standard rate at $99 instead of the $125, or the premium rate at $150 instead of $200. So
I don't know why you wouldn't join.
Like, I don't know.
I don't work for the Central. Obviously I do the marketing.
I don't work.
But like, I don't understand from a business standpoint. Like, I mean, why you wouldn't join a network of businesses for that price?
Yes, fact.
You know, I mean, I get if you can't sponsor a big event, wait till you can. With that, like if you're just starting out and you're wondering, like, all right, where do I spend my money? That's it. That's probably one of the first places you need to go.
You look at it. So, say you join this month for even the standard $99.
Yeah,
you get to come on Talk Local to Me. This podcast right here is a form of marketing. And you come on, we talk about your business. We talk about what's important to you, what you want your consumers to know. Then it's shared. I mean, Grove Street does a great job with sharing it, giving you the links to that so that you can share it out to people. It's almost like a miniature commercial for you because you're able to do this. You know, we have the digital billboards that we put out there. So when you join, you get a free week. And I know it doesn't seem like much, but, you know, you get that free week. At the premium rate, you get 2 free weeks. That's including your artwork design.
I mean, come on, y'all.
Yeah, right?
Come on.
And then the discounts you get for future billboards is crazy. You can go as little as $150 a month when compared to some, it's like $1,200 depending on where.
Have you priced billboards? Like,
not lately.
Oh my!
I have not. I just know ours is really inexpensive, so I don't have to worry about it.
It's like, oh my, are you serious? Like, I'm serious.
Yep.
I'm like, it's like, that's why it really is important that you join an organization that kind of has your back. And then if you have those questions like, hey, Heather, I was thinking of doing, some radio, or I wanted to be on or I was thinking about doing a billboard or a website. Then Heather literally has a list of people.
Yep.
She's like, oh, okay, I've got you. This is who you want to talk to.
Yep.
And you work with people on that list.
Yes.
So then you could even say, well, this person might be a good fit for you. I think they do a good job. So it really is important.
And new this year, we've just kind of, we've solidified. And I try to do, so digital. So like you've got your digital billboard, you've got the radio, you've got print media, so magazines.
Yeah.
We now so you get discounts for Lynchburg Living magazine.
Oh, that's right.
We have discounts for the Roanoker. If you're out in the Roanoke Fenton area, we have discounts now we have a free ad. Every new member gets a free ad in the News in Advance.
Man.
And the Bedford Bulletin.
See?
And then we've also partnered with my friend Adam Swisher with Discover the Blue Ridge. And he does like YouTube business spotlights that you then can also utilize.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, that's fantastic.
What are you waiting for, people? But anyway.
I really don't. For the price, and that's not per month, everybody.
No, that's a year.
I mean, come on.
That's annual.
I mean, seriously.
A lot of people do think it's per month, and I have to make sure I tell them it's not. It's a one-time
because it's so
affordable.
They're like, wait a minute.
So, don't cut back on your marketing, and whether it's going through us and working, or whether it's just calling up a radio station and saying, hey, I want to do commercials or television commercials or whatever. We even have the opportunity for you to have commercials here on Talk Local to Me, where we actually set aside time and do a commercial for your business. And we have a good subscriber base, at least I think, right, Rodney?
We absolutely
doing all right over there?
Well, we're doing great. Well, see, that's the thing. There are avenues, and that's, I'm not going to put too big of a plug here, but that's really one of the reasons I wanted to do this, is so that small businesses would have a platform, because I know how expensive it is, because I am a small business.
Mm-hmm.
So you do have a platform, and Talk Local to Me has a great base of subscribers alone to the podcast. And then, like Heather said, you come in, you talk about your business, you have a built-in commercial, plus you've kind of got to network and talk.
Yeah.
I think that small business owners forget all that they do in their own business, because they're in a routine, but like you get on an opportunity like this, or like you do a Living in the Heart, and then you hear yourself saying all that you do, and it's like, wow, it kind of gives you the energy to keep going.
Now, the next thing I'll mention is I know I'm going to say this and people are going to be like, well, I'm trying to do this and we're having a hard time with this. And that is finding and retaining good employees.
Yeah.
And I hear you. I know. I completely understand. Everywhere I seem to go lately, especially I feel like especially in like the restaurant field
Yeah, that was
food,
hard right now.
that they're struggling to find good quality people. And but here's what I have to say is that once you do, please make sure you're doing something to keep them. And I'm not talking about, it doesn't even have to be monetarily. It doesn't have to be that you're paying them a ton. Sometimes it could just be respect, letting them know they're doing a good job. Things like that, small little things. You know what? Bring me a donut. I mean, I always appreciate some donuts, things like that. I just think once you find a good employer or good set of employees, I know that we have some businesses in this area that I think do a fabulous job with that. And I think there are some that probably could improve on what they're doing. And but those of you who are out there and you're not working, come on now. I'm just saying. Get up there. I mean, and I'm not talking about full time. Go get something part time. Just go do something. It's also good for you. I'm just going to say this. Like, I know some people think they have it made just sitting at home and doing whatever. I know it drives me crazy to just sit at home.
After about a day and a half, 2 days, I'm like, I'm itching to get into something. Like, I can't do it. My body will not let me rest but for so long.
And I'm also going to say that I'm one of those people. I used to waitress. I loved waitressing. I would go back and do it now. Just for the fun of it, because I had such a good time, and the people you would meet, and the people you would.
I can see Heather now talking to each table. Good Lord,
honey,
no food would come out. Heather be sitting down talking to you.
I'd be all up in. That's a fact.
Where's my food, Heather?
Oh,
well.
You'd be like, "Are you Heather? Yeah, let me sit down and talk with you about it. How's that meal?
Yeah.
Let me have a bite."
When's the last time you went to Disney? Let's talk about that.
Let's talk about that. But yes, finding and retaining good people. And that kind of rolls into creating a positive work environment, like I just said. Just making sure that once you have those employees, that you're doing things to keep them, motivated and excited about being at work. And I know a lot of businesses have gone to the flexible work schedules. You've got people that are letting you work from home some, and then some in the office. And I think that has been really good for a lot of people. So just encouraging that, and then updating your business plan. If you haven't looked at your business plan, maybe your handbook, even like I'm even now looking at just job descriptions, going through my staff's job description and kind of tweaking and looking at, okay, Autumn and Andrea have been with me for a year. What do I think they can handle? What do I feel like maybe they didn't do last year that they need to be doing because it's part of their description? Have those like annual reviews, have those things with your staff, and, not so much to tell them what they're not doing right. You know what I mean? But more so to kind of look at them and say, I know for me, like I'm meeting with my girls next week, and I asked each of them, to put a list of goals together, like things what do they personally want to do?
Yeah.
I asked them to put together ideas, like what ideas do you have for the Central Virginia Business Coalition? Because just because I'm the executive director does not mean that everything I say goes and that I can't. They have fabulous ideas. Listen to your employees, because sometimes your employees will come up with things that you may not have thought about. But just, relook at all of those things and see if you need any changes, because it's better to make those changes at the beginning of the year than halfway through.
Yeah.
And try to implement something, after people are already on a track.
Now's a great time.
Yes.
Great time for everybody too, because everybody mentally is like resetting. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So like you can kind of have some flexibility if
Absolutely.
if you have to correct course, then it's a little bit more forgiving than around August, September. It's like, oh man.
Yep. The next thing I cannot say more. Again, it kind of falls directly under the marketing thing for me.
Yeah.
Focus on networking.
Yeah.
Get up from behind your desk and go out and meet other businesses. I cannot stress this enough. And for those, I hear people that go, well, I don't need the business. I don't need the business. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Because you may be full now, but 5-6 months, what if something happens and all of a sudden it's a trickle coming through your door?
Yeah.
I think it's better to have too much and to let people know, hey, I'm a little bit busy. I'm a little bit, behind, but I'm going to get to you. Than, no, I just don't need your business right now.
Yeah.
Because then guess what? You lost their business. It's somewhere else. It's gone.
Yep.
You're not getting it back. So when you go out and network, building connections through other people is, quite honestly, in my opinion, one of the best and biggest ways to grow your business. We host a monthly networking event called Coffee Talk. We host actually 2. We hold one in Roanoke and the Vinton area, and then we hold one in the Lynchburg, kind of Bedford and surrounding county areas. We normally have close to 60 some business owners that come out to that every month. And I am constantly hearing these business owners talking to each other and saying, oh, hey, great. I know somebody who needs that work. Let me have your card. I've seen businesses that are just starting out kind of hesitantly walk into these because they're nervous. And of course, they're, it's a lot to take in. But I've had some come to me afterwards and go, oh my goodness, I got this account because I was at your networking event and they referred me and I was able to go and talk with them. And so check and see what networking events are happening in your area. There are more that are going on than just what we put on. There are, smaller networking groups, so there's definitely opportunities out there. Ribbon cuttings are a great way. If you see ribbon cuttings are happening, go out and see those that are there, but definitely meet the new business owners. They're having a ribbon cutting for a reason. They want recognition. They want people to come see what they're doing. So those are great ways to build relationships in 2023. And I highly, highly encourage people to do that as well. Applying technology to streamline your business. Okay, this is the first thing I'm going to say. I don't know. I'm not technologically. I'm challenged.
What?
I'm not good. That's why Woody does all my stuff because I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know. I don't know anything about technology, but if you need to do stuff to streamline that process, I highly encourage you to do so. Look at, your websites, your banks, apps for your business, things like that. CVABC is getting an app this year, right? Like, what? I'm scared and excited all at the same time because I just, I'm excited to have that coming out. And I think there's lots of things that, again, I still see people using like Zoom, Google Meets, stuff like that. If it works better for you to do that, please, I think continue with it. A lot of people I know are zoomed out, but some aren't.
I mean, it is what it is at this point.
And then I'm gonna let Woody. I'm gonna mention this next one. I want you to tell me your thoughts.
All right.
Continuously build your brand.
Yeah, you have to.
So how would you tell people to do that? Like, what's a good way to continue to push your brand out?
Oh, because you can. I mean, we tend to get comfortable, after a while. And like I said, like small business owners usually don't have a team working on stuff and kind of always kind of evolving. And, you'll go months and you're like, oh man, I haven't done this. And it is important to stay. The easiest way is social media, like just to keep consistently posting about something,
Yeah. I wanted to see if you were going to actually say what was on and that's exactly what they were talking about.
You got
knowing what you're talking about.
Hopefully some days, I know how busy people can get, but there are options out there now. Like there are people that can run your social media, and there are pieces of software that you can sit down and pre-schedule stuff now.
Right.
So you can even do that on Facebook. I mean, it's not some magic that's like, oh, well, how do I do it? You can do it. It's not too bad. So stay consistent on Facebook and your website. Like really take a look at your website, take a look and see like, is my contact information up to date? Are my hours up to date? Like, what does it look like? Does it look like it was built in 1998, but not in a good way? Like, so there are simple things like that. Like, and from a physical standpoint, it never hurts to have a set of fresh eyes. Like even walk around your building or your storefront and look at your signage. Look at your, like, do you have a banner that's been hanging up for 3 years that has the same information? So it just never hurts to kind of look at the small things and say, oh, well, like a new a new flyer on the door
Right.
probably wouldn't hurt, because it can, it kind of just gives it like, okay, this person cares a little bit.
Yeah.
And there are companies out there, I will say this, that you can hire
What?
that will redo stuff for you if you are looking kind of like, I kind of want a new
Watch
logo.
Creative
I want
Studio?
I want some new branding colors. I need some new signs,
Mhm.
because we're opening up a store in Bedford, like, so there's stuff like that you can do.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. You make me laugh. I'm about to choke.
That will go out there and trample all your lavender and even install signs for you.
That's right.
See?
When you have what are they? Caterpillar pods on the.
I don't know what they were.
I don't know what they were either. They're still there.
Cars were whizzing by me, and I had some Caterpillar monsters like in my face, but those signs went up, and they're still up. They are still up.
They're still there. They're still there. I had knocked them down. I'm over here choking. I'm about to choke on my water out of I was telling you my Circle.
Yeah.
I'm going to get them to be my
sponsors.
Because if you guys did not get a Circle, you need a Circle. Just help you drink water. I don't like water, like plain. And yes, I say water. I think I've said this before. But I love this bottle because you can have different flavors. You put them in this. I'll have to show it to you later.
Okay.
But anyway, the last two things, because I'm digressing here. The last two things it mentions, and we've already kind of touched on this with my word, is focus on yourself and focus on others.
Yeah.
Those are two big things. Focusing on others. A lot of people now, I was reading, they were talking about the different, the Gen Z, all the different.
Yep. I don't even know what they are anymore.
There are all kinds of things. But a lot of times people do now like to focus on causes.
Yep.
Because people want to associate with other things. So, focus on others, but then of course, focus on yourself. Take time, to make sure that you're running the business is not running you.
Yes.
So that you, you feel kind of comfortable going into the new year with what you got in store. So I highly encourage people to kind of sit down and think about those things today. If any of that touched you, you may be doing all the things. You may have listened and said, you know what, I do need to do one or two of those things, or I've, got some of it in the bag, or you could be like, I am a hot mess and I have got none of that, ready.
Then now's a good time to make a list.
Make a list. So, but I thought that I wanted to bring that up, and then I wanted to kind of roll into, what you were talking about, that you decided to just kind of go straight into this, all the things happening. And I thought for the rest of the show, I wanted to chat a little bit with you on what's going on here on Grove Street, what you've added, which show is your favorite, Talk Local to Me, and all the things.
Yes, all the things.
I'm just kidding.
All things local.
You have a great variety of shows here, with some great hosts, and I like the fact that even though we have different shows, a lot of us will cross promote each other or go on each other's show and things like that. I don't want to be on Cop Talk. So they can
hopefully not for the wrong reason.
Yeah,
right?
so they won't call me because I'm not going to go on Cop Talk. But I wouldn't mind having them on. I need to talk to our new town chief. Yeah.
Chief Lewis.
So I need to have him on the show.
Yeah, he's great. Super nice.
But yeah, so tell me a little bit. You've got all kinds of stuff.
Yes. So Grove Street FM, as hopefully many of you know that listen to this podcast. We've been doing this podcast, what, 2-3 years now? 3?
2.5.
We're going, almost 3
going
now.
Into 3.
We started off with a few coming in. We had a wooden spool in the middle of the room.
Yeah, we did.
And the not as advanced equipment as we do now.
Mm-hmm.
So we started out with a few podcasts, and early on, the thing that I kept hearing is, "What's a podcast? How do I listen?"
Right.
And for one podcast, it's easy to explain, right? You go to the podcasting app and you subscribe. Well, as a business and station now, we have grown to the point where it's really hard to tell people like all the shows, and it's asking listeners a lot, to say, hey, like we do 14 shows now. Go to so over my goal over the last few months of 2022 was to make it so incredibly easy for people to listen to our shows, right? So that's why we redid the app. I redid that and put all the podcasts in there, simple to use, blah, blah, blah. Well, did that, check that off the list. So, and the capability of listening live, which some of you might be listening right now live in the app.
Right.
You might be watching live in the app.
And if you are, hello.
I wanted to make it as close to a radio station experience as I could. Okay. So fast forward to, I would say sometime in December, I started thinking, I was like, yeah, what about the days that we don't have live shows, right? like I want more people to use the app because I think it's a good app, and I think that we have a lot of great local content, and I think that it could be utilized more. And plus, I'm all about like, hey, what can I do to make it awesome? Tinker, play, and expand. So I got to think, well, what do I do? All right. Well, one, I like music, right? I listen to Sirius XM because I like just plain music. I don't like a ton of commercials. I get it. You got to pay for the airtime.
Right.
So that's what got me thinking like, well, how can I really develop Grove Street FM to be a well-rounded app that people want to download and don't have to download? Okay. So that's where it is. So that's where I started working on, okay, well, I want to build some radio stations and kind of give a good mix of radio so that on the days that we aren't doing live shows, you have something to listen to. And that has kind of snowballed. So I started with, they're completely legit radio streams, right? We pay licensing fee and royalties to the artist. And we do have ads inserted, but there's no more than 4 minutes per hour of advertisements. Okay. So every hour you'll get 56 minutes of music, right?
Okay, right.
On each of the radio streams. And then I got to thinking, I said, once we have the local podcast in there, we have the music channels, we have our live audio channels. So like today, or if we do sports like we did Monday at Liberty High School, we did the game, we have that channel. I was like, well, let me see what else I can add in there. Well, now I've added a world news channel, right, that has just the headlines. There's no commentary. There's no nothing. It's literally just the headlines updated from a national source. So if you're kind of want to stay in the know, but you really don't care about hearing opinions with it, I have a feed in there now. And one that I really like is a weather feed.
I was just getting ready to bring that up.
That is updated every hour and on demand. And the way this works, I spent a lot of time.
You call Chris Morris every day? Every hour?
Every morning. Hey, Chris, what's the weather? No, I have it set from a national, it pulls from the National Weather Service and another weather service. It updates every hour. And through some server scripts and blah, 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 I have it automatically updated in the app every hour. So when you go, you don't have to wait for a commercial break. You don't have to wait till it comes in rotation. Cool. You can literally go there, hit play, hear the forecast, and then go to the other channel. So Grove Street FM app is completely different than what it was even 3 months ago.
Yeah.
And really with our sports coverage now of local, we're all about local now. Local, the Minutemen, the girls varsity basketball team from one, they're just having a great season, and we're covering, I think, 8 or 9 of their games live.
Okay.
And we're doing that. I think we have 2 games next week. So really, Grove Street FM, I want to be the local go-to station for everybody. And I think that shows like yours and hosts like yourselves that have been doing your show for almost 3 years now, I mean, it's such a great resource. Yeah. I mean, we have the most local content that I know of. I'm not bashing anybody else. I'm just saying, like, we really have, I don't know if anybody's doing that many local shows that you all are doing, all the hosts here. And then now with music. So really, you download the app, you kind of get it all now, really.
And you're also going to be doing some live streaming for us this year at some of our events.
Ribbon cuttings.
That's going to be awesome. Ribbon cuttings. Hopefully Battle of the Bands again. I know you did that a few years ago. That was a big hit.
We did the Christmas parade, which people loved.
Yeah. I meant to ask you, how did that go? Like,
oh my gosh.
Have a good turnout of people?
We had a great on YouTube we had a lot, on Facebook we had a lot, and on the Roku and app we had a lot. And then the thing that I saw after it gets shared on Facebook a lot, which is nice, all the comments were just so positive that I'm so glad you did, because this year was actually a perfect year to do it. Because it was calling for rain.
It was,
but it didn't do rain. So
I was rain dancing all over the place, making sure I didn't. I was like, please don't, weather is always a factor when you do these big events, and it's hard, I think, for some, I think it's really hard for people to understand that it's not something you can just redirect on a whim.
No.
You can't it doesn't change it up.
Y'all don't just plan this stuff within a week.
Oh, no.
Like, this stuff has been months and a lot of man hours planning. So when you get to 3 days before the festival or parade, and all of a sudden they're calling for some rain to come the hour before.
Yeah, I can't just move it to next Monday.
Everybody can't start running around saying, "Oh yeah, we can change everything."
Yeah.
I don't think people understand the logistics. Like you have to have the police department to block streets. You got to have the fire department. You got to let everybody know. Like it's not an overnight thing.
And I think people too with parades is that, we run Bedford, Virginia's parade. We also run Lynchburg, Virginia's parade. But in that span of weekends, the first to second weekend of December, there are so many different parades happening in our area, in the community. So whether it's Roanoke, Salem, Rustburg, Vinton, Amherst, like there's just so many, and Alta Vista.
Yep.
So we try our best to be very respectful of the fact that other parades are happening. A lot of the participants in some of our parades are participating in all of these parades. Like they're trying to get to all of these places because they service those areas. And we can't just go, oh, well, it rained, so we'll hold it, later this evening. Well, because the Bedford parade is in the morning. Well, Alta Vista's parade is in the evening.
Yeah.
So if we back up the time, if we make any changes, that potentially affects their parade. We can't move to a night. We've had people go, why don't you move to a nighttime parade? We could. We've thought about it. We've looked at it. We've actually had people tell us they don't want us to do the nighttime parade. But again, we would lose participants because they've already been in Alta Vista's parade for so many years. And how would that look as a neighboring county to look at Alta Vista and go, you know what, we're going to move our parade to the same time as yours. We'll see how that works out for both of us.
And, it's like something like Centerfest, right? Where like, really, I know people are always looking for the most convenient thing, but when you have things that have been in place for years, it literally helps everybody plan. It helps this business that wants to participate in this many parades or these festivals.
Yep.
It helps to know Centerfest is usually this weekend at this time. It helps to know this parade is this time on this weekend. So really, it helps everybody kind of have a general idea going into it. And not to change it up every year.
And it's funny you mentioned that because I was on the flip side of that this past year because normally Bedford Centerfest had always been the third weekend of September.
Yes.
And we had already been kind of in competition. The Lynchburg Beer and Wine Festival had started happening that same weekend. And then all of a sudden, last year we received at the end of 2021, right? Going into 2022, we received word that another local organization was going to host their wine festival that weekend. Well, normally that wine festival is always the fourth Saturday. Yeah. Well, they decided to push it back. And so I actually contacted them and said, hey guys, like, I don't know if you realized, but we have this major event that happens every year on this weekend.
Yeah.
Plus, the Lynchburg Beer and Wine Festival is that weekend, and you're competing with another wine festival too.
Yes.
And basically what I got back from them was, oh, well, sorry, this is what we're doing. And quite honestly, that didn't set well with me. I felt like, that's kind of disrespectful. And that's why I don't do that to others, because I had to completely change up everything and move ours to the fourth weekend. And, it is what it is. We still had it worked best for me because we had a fabulous turnout. But those are the types of things I try and look at our calendar at the beginning of the year and see what other people are planning so that we don't hit, like, I know we do a Christmas in July. I know better than to do it the second weekend because that is always Horse and Hound Festival here in Bedford. I know, like, I try very hard to make sure that I'm not, hurting other businesses or other people by hosting something on the same weekend. Now, sometimes you have to. I mean, sometimes it just works out that way.
But that
only
also
so many weekends in a year. But
that goes to especially on Facebook, which we're all bless you for everybody having an opinion. But like, if you wonder why things happen the way they do, I promise you. I really do promise you, there's probably about 60 reasons why it's done the way it is done. Mm-hmm. And obviously everybody's open to good feedback, but like, it is very easy to sit back and say, well, why don't you do this? Well, because this, and this, but we're not going to explain that to you right now on Facebook. Because it's like one of those things where you do start reading feedback and everything. It's like, I will take constructive feedback any day, and I appreciate every bit of it. Yeah. And if you call me and say, hey, it'd be nice if the app had this, I totally want that.
Yeah.
But on the other side, there are some things it's just like, this is the way we do it, and this is how it's done, and this is why we do it that way.
Right. And I would say also to that fact, because I'm not gonna lie, I'm one of those people that like my feelings get hurt.
I
get
know.
my feelings
I want
hurt.
everybody to have a
I'll
great
be
time.
sad. Like somebody they'll say something about, so I will honestly say the biggest thing we get is the Lynchburg Parade, because
Yeah.
it's not downtown. I get people constantly talking about how, and someone made a comment. I think we talked about this on the air about how it was just like the worst parade ever. I mean, my feelings.
Is it though? Really? I mean,
I don't know.
But I mean, I'm really like, it's easy to sit back and just fire off. Like, come on, let's really think about it. Is that worthy? No.
It makes me mad though, not just for me, but it makes me mad for those who do truly just want to participate and they put the effort in to make something. I don't care what kind of something it is, a float, or they walk in it, or what they do, but they're giving of their time. They want to wave at the crowd. They want to, sometimes they're doing it. Like I had one of the guys tell me he was just doing it for his grandkids. They wanted to be in the parade and have a float. So he made a float and they were in the parade and they had a blast. And so it makes me upset for others too, not even just for me. And I can feel myself like I have to stop. I've told people to stop tagging me in them because I can feel myself. I feel the anger. It'll start building up in my chest, and then I just don't let it get to my mouth, because then my fingers start fast flying on the keyboards and stuff, and then I have to settle myself down. But that's the sort of thing that I feel like people, again, constructive criticism. I'll take it.
Yeah,
let me know.
I want to know feedback. Good feedback. Well, bad feedback too, but feedback in general that is not of all complaining, because there's just a lot of work goes into this stuff. And I don't think people understand how much work goes into it. Like, and that's one of the things I love, that I get to work with, like Public Works, the electric department, the police department, because I see, and like organizations like yours, like I see the behind the scenes that really no one ever sees. Mm-hmm. And it's like, it just is amazing to me, the amount of work that goes into even putting up Christmas lights around Liberty Lake Park.
Oh yeah.
And then you hear people comment or whatever, and it's just kind of like, come on, y'all. Like it's a lot of work goes into this.
Yep.
So
I agree. So in 2023, let's all try to be kinder.
Yeah, let's all be nice and download the Grove Street FM app.
Kindness.
Everybody download the app and be nice.
Download the app.
How about that?
Comments. Grover doesn't like it.
Grover, can I tell you one more thing?
Yeah, quickly. Yeah, right. I mean, we got time. I was going to say I want to hear more about Grover and how he feels about these changes.
Oh, he'll let you know one day.
Okay.
Grover, he's got 2 books out now, but 2 books he will have them in stock soon, right? Locally, okay. And they probably will hopefully make their way to All Things Local. We got to talk about that.
Oh,
And we will have an actual plush Grover coming up. Probably I would say February he should get here. Yeah, plush, he's got his headphones on, his hoodie on, he'll be ready, and that will be for sale as well.
Do you feel like there will ever be a crossover Boots the Cow and Grover book?
You
and DW talked about that.
That has been discussed.
We have 2 local authors here.
I'm gonna tell you what. That would be in the Boots department, because Boots is rocking and rolling.
Oh yeah, Boots is big. I mean, he's big time.
So I would be honored if Boots would want to talk to Grover one day in a book. So
good old Boots.
Yeah, Boots
I've been excited to watch his growth. So
Boots is great.
I feel Grover will get there.
I'll let DW promote what's coming up, but I'm just saying there's another book in the works.
Oh,
it has begun, so just stay alert.
Is it about the baby sister?
I'm not gonna say anything. You're gonna have to ask DW.
I told him he needed a book about the baby sister.
You've got to ask DW. All I'm saying is that he is always hard at work on the next one.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
He's great guy. That one. Okay, well, so hopefully you've tuned in today. Like I said, we didn't have any guests, but I feel between myself and Woody, we've tried to give y'all some great tips and things that'll lead you into the new year. If you are listening and you want to be a part of the show, if you want to come on Talk Local to Me, go to grovestreet.fm, find the Talk Local to Me section, app?
Yep, under shows.
Talk
Local to Me.
There's a section there where you can request to be on the show. And that comes straight to me, and we send you the link to get set up. We'd love to have you on. So we will be talking local to you again next Wednesday. Until then, have a healthy, happy start to your new year.